Welcome, everybody, to episode 134 of Disney with the Ducks. Tonight, you've got me, John Crawl, and I'm joined by my two friends, Lonnie G.
Hey, everybody.
And Gene.
Hey, everybody.
All right. Well, welcome, guys. One of the first things we want to do tonight is ask everybody to please go out and give us a 5-star review. Leave us some kind words, and we'll try to read it on a future episode if you do that for us. But just think about all the good you're doing for the universe by spreading the word about the Ducks and how amazing we are. So that'll really be very helpful for us. All right. So tonight, what we're going to do is the thing we do every week, and we're going to ask a question to get to know each other a little bit better. So tonight's question is, what is your all-time favorite sports team? One season, one team, any sport. What's your favorite one ever? Lonnie, do you have one?
Well, not to brag, but I will. It has to be the 2010 New Orleans Saints. Super Bowl winning New Orleans Saints that beat the Colts 31-17 in the Super Bowl. You may have heard of them, right? That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, who that?
Man, Drew Brees, was that his first Super Bowl?
It was his first Super Bowl, and he won MVP that Super Bowl, by the way.
Man, that's awesome. I was really happy when they won too, just because I was glad he got it, and I just never liked the Colts, so. I have no idea why. They've never been in the Lions division or anything. I just don't like them.
It was a magical season for the Saints. I remember, man, we watched it in New Orleans, even though the game was in Miami. And after we won, we hopped in a car and went down to Bourbon Street, man, and everybody was down there. It was packed. Canal Street was kind of literally shut down. You couldn't drive it. So people just were standing outside of their cars, hugging each other, just some people were crying. Man, it was an awesome time, dude. Awesome time. So, hey, man, you can't beat that.
No, you really can't. Like, that really is one of the best things ever, is right after your home team wins a championship. That's amazing. You were living in New Orleans at the time?
We actually lived in Baton Rouge at that time. So it's about an hour from New Orleans, an hour and 10 minutes. But, my family is in New Orleans, so we actually drove down there and watched it. We all had one big watch party at some friends and relatives' homes, and right after that, it was like, all right, we're going to Canal Street. Let's go party, and that's what it is.
That's awesome. God, I can't wait to feel that in February when the Lions win the Super Bowl. It's gonna be amazing.
Okay.
You never know. You never know. Gene, what about you? What do you got? Is it your Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, I mean, it's probably every year, the last, several years of the Kansas City Chiefs, just because they're amazing and they're my very favorite team. I know everything about them now, but actually I'm going to go back and say the 95 Cowboys. And, I have the VHS, tapes. So I watch them regularly and, just try to keep up with the Cowboys, try to keep the hope alive by going back to that last Super Bowl win. And, 27-17, the Steelers, who we got beat by, the great, Terry Bradshaw led the Steelers to win over the Cowboys in 77, I believe. And so, it's only 18 years later, they came back for revenge. So, that's kind of what's keeping me just really, I don't know what the word is. Not in the deeps of depression, is to go back and watch those tapes, so that's it.
Oh, I hope that tape never pops, because man, I know you might go down the dark hole that I could never get you out of, man. So
I actually have it on DVD. Thank you. I actually have it on DVD.
Really? How did you do that? Did you record the tape to DVD?
I have a special commemorative DVD, set.
Man, that must have been the absolute first. It's not Blu-ray. It's definitely not Blu-ray.
No.
So
I think it's Blu-ray. No, it's got actually all 5 Super Bowl wins on there. So. Wow. Yeah, that's it. I got no trash talk today for you, Lonnie. Nothing. I got nothing. Go Lions.
Yes, thank you. That's this year. This year's Lions team might end up being my favorite sports team ever if they win the Super Bowl. All right. So as much as I loved the 2003 or 2023 Michigan Wolverines football team that won the national championship, um, and I would like to pick that one just to mess with Jeff. I'm actually going to say I think the '97 Detroit Red Wings were probably my all-time favorite
Okay.
sports team. Anything. It was just the whole city. You'd go shopping, and there'd be like little old ladies with Red Wings jerseys on, and
Yeah.
families who everybody was wearing Wings gear. I mean, pretty much, 50% of the people you saw out on the street had Red Wings apparel on that season. And it was so much fun and going through the playoffs and everything. And then me and my dad got to be at the game where they won the Stanley Cup for the first time in 42 years. And that was just amazing. Like it was probably the best night of my life. And just that team, like every player on it is amazing. And you remember all these goals they scored. And like, it's just such a fun time in life. So,
Yeah.
but Lonnie, like you were saying, after the game, we left Joe Louis Arena after they did all the, lifting the cup and all that, and went home. We lived about 30 miles outside the city, and there's this road called Gratiot Avenue that people did a lot of like cruising on, back in the day. And so I went home, and I was like 16 years old. Me and my friends just all walked up there because it was a mile from our house, and it was the biggest party I've ever seen in my life for until 4 a.m. or so when we finally all went home. And it was amazing. It was bumper to bumper packed, everybody standing on their cars and like rocking out to music. So I think that's my all-time favorite sports team.
That's a good choice, man. It's the memories from it, right? So that's a great choice.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like it was something me and my dad just did. We had season tickets and we went to all the games and loved it.
Hey,
So all right.
Can I change mine real quick? Because I'm just real quick. The 1971 TC Williams High School Titans. That's probably my real favorite, all-time favorite sports team.
Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
So that was a great team. Great team.
Great team.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you still listen to the cemetery speech every day to get fired up for work.
Oh man. Left side. Strong side, weak side. I don't remember what they said. Something like that.
I don't remember either, but it was a good movie. But tonight we're gonna talk about other good movies, specifically good movies made by Disney from '89 to about '99 that were part of the Renaissance era of Disney movies. So this is a portion of Disney movies that we really thought deserved its own discussion, aside from the decade of the 90s, because these were so influential in getting the Disney company back and bringing back these types of animated hits. One of the big things, too, is they really started to bring more music into it and make the soundtracks absolutely amazing. So I'm really excited tonight to talk through these with you guys. So one of the things we were going to talk about is kind of go through our top 5 favorite movies from this time. So Lonnie, what do you got as like your number 5?
Number 5. I'm gonna go with a Beauty and the Beast. 1991. Man, who didn't love Beauty and the Beast? You got Mrs. Potts, you got the Beast, you got Belle. I mean, I think it was one of those things we've watched a ton of times. So, man, you can't go wrong with that one. So I'm going to say Beauty and the Beast as my number 5.
Wow. Number 5. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I thought it would be higher. Cause I had Beauty and the Beast as my number 3. So same way. I mean, it was just such a great movie. The music was amazing. The animation was cool. The storyline was awesome. I loved it.
And I'm gonna tell you something, man. And and you'll see like 3 of these. I've seen them, the actual Broadway performances, either on the boat or actually on Broadway. And even that, man, just puts a whole nother level to it, right? So Beauty and the Beast is one of the ones they show on the Disney cruise lines and on the theater night, right? So just to have that, man, and even though it's a little bit of an abbreviated version, but man, it's just the music, to your point. It's just fantastic, right? It's like some things you just hear it and you know what it's from. So I'm going with Beauty and the Beast.
Man, it is just an amazing movie, and I wish they had more. I know they have the restaurant and LeFou's brew, but I wish they had a Beauty and the Beast ride of some sort. Like,
Yeah, that would be interesting. I would like to have a show on how can we make these movies rides. Because what would
Yeah.
would it be a dark ride? I don't know.
I think a teacup, like you replace the teacups with new different teacups, just chip.
Get Chip. Get Chip spinning around. Everybody would want to get Chip though, so it'd be a long wait for Chip.
That's true. Yeah. We're gonna have to workshop this one a little bit. All right. So
hey, did you know that,
yes.
that this is the first animated film to ever be nominated for a Best Picture?
For the
Academy Award?
Now that you say that, I do remember hearing that somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Did it win?
I don't believe it won. I think it was just nominated.
Well, that's still, I mean, that's pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. So that's some good trivia, Gene. But where do you?
I got a little bit for all of them,
Yeah. Do you have Beauty and the Beast on your top 5?
I don't, but I can't say that I dislike any of these movies. These are movies not from really my childhood. It started 89 is the year I graduated from high school, but I have a little sister. And so I saw all these movies. We had all these on videotape. And so, I know all these movies for the most part. And then, I've got a daughter that watched these and, they were a part of my life, not as a little kid, but as a young adult. So yeah, they're all good movies, but Beauty and the Beast is not on my list.
Wow. Okay. So what do you got at number 5?
So probably controversial because everybody loves this movie so much, but number 5 is The Little Mermaid. It's a great movie. It's a great story. It's an adaptation of Hans Christian Andersen's, fairy tale, which is an adaptation, but it's great music. I mean, we say all the time in my house, it's just me and my wife. It's just a thing we do. Like, what do you call it? Oh yeah, legs. We just stuff like that, from that movie. It's a good movie, great lines. I've seen, not on Broadway, but I've actually seen a local production of it. It was really, really good. And, I mean, it's just a good movie.
Good choice.
Yeah. No, I like that one a lot too.
So check this out. Did you know, I mean, who's your favorite character from The Little Mermaid besides The Little Mermaid?
Sebastian.
Okay. I would say, that's a good character, right? Did you know that he was originally envisioned as like an English butler type character, and his name wasn't going to be Sebastian, it was going to be Clarence?
Man,
that
I'm so
just
glad
changes the whole thing, right?
Wait, yeah, man, because don't you love that like the island accent? Like
yes,
when he sings,
of course, that's part of who he is, man.
He's the girl, man. I'm sure that is like the best song when he sings la 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 la. Kiss me, girl.
You can't imagine Batman, Alfred singing that. No,
Exactly.
You don't want to play English
Wouldn't even
butler.
be that,
No.
man. I'm so glad calmer heads prevailed.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good.
No.
Huh. And did Shaggy play him in like something on Disney?
That sounds familiar.
Wasn't this like a live show that they live streamed or something? I can't remember. Shoot, now this is gonna bug me all night. But for some reason I think Shaggy was somehow.
Well, fortunately,
involved.
I have the Google machine at hand.
Wouldn't me? You do have the Google machine. Gene's looking really hard to figure this out, and I appreciate the effort. Okay,
Under the Sea, The Little Mermaid Live. Watch Shaggy perform Under the Sea on The Little Mermaid Live on YouTube on ABC. It was a TV deal. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Look at you, John, bringing it out, man.
Good job.
And Gene was saying, man, he told in.
All right, well, Gene, yeah, we appreciate the tidbits. And so you mentioned Little Mermaid. I'm gonna just say I had that at number 1. That's my all-time favorite. Like I love the Little Mermaid. I like the story of everything, and I like just how they bring all that great music into it, and it's just so fun.
So let me ask you this, okay? Not trying to get all political or anything, nothing like that. But like, is there anything about that movie or that story that you don't like, being the dad of a daughter?
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this on another episode at one point too. I mean, the whole idea of her just getting a guy with just out using her voice or talking to him at all.
Yeah.
It's a bit bothersome.
It's all about looks. She never spoke to him.
Yeah. On both sides,
Be
right?
a little deeper,
Um,
Ariel. You know,
yeah.
get to know him first
No,
before you're
Gene,
ready to
thanks
give up
for
your, you know, your voice.
yeah. Thanks. Thanks. Now I have to cancel Little Mermaid. Um, but no, I mean there are some issues there, but like at the same time, I can get over it because I love the song Under the Sea.
Okay. So
Yeah, you know what I
you
mean?
can completely throw your principles away
Yeah,
because
no
the
morals,
song's good.
everything.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
because
That's fine.
and
Whatever works.
I like and so this was the first movie of the Disney Renaissance, and it was also the first time that Alan Menken came in, who is someone I like love. Right, so this is the first time he came in and wrote music for this for Disney. You know, coming from I think Little Shop of Horrors was what he did before, and Michael Eisner liked that and brought him in, and the rest is history. And he ended up with an EGOT and stuff out of all this. So, um, but no, this was the movie that kind of got everything going and pulled Disney out of the dark ages, I guess, right, with the Black Cauldron and things like that just weren't hits. So they really needed this, and I think that's part of the cool part about it too, is that this kind of helped. I mean, maybe save the company is a bit crazy to say, but it really brought Disney back from kind of where they were and elevated the company quite a bit.
Hey, since we're sharing stories about the Little Mermaid, I want to share this with you guys. So, and Gene knows this. Back in college, I worked at Toys R Us. That's right. That was me. The manager came out and said, "Pull all of the Little Mermaids off the shelf." And
Ooh.
we were like, "Why?" And it's like apparently a disgruntled artist drew something that was to be misconstrued in the background. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Oh,
So they had to pull them and had to re-release them all. So that's just
yeah.
behind the scenes from the Toys R Us on the street.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
I mean, that's definitely something I knew, and I love that fact about this movie.
Well, you knew it, man. Look, John, man,
Yeah,
you're the man. John got that copy along with
yeah.
Yeah.
Gene's.
The Lion King too.
I actually went. I said, "Can I buy one?" And he wouldn't. He's like, "No." I said, "Dude, let me buy." He said, "We can't." So yeah.
They're all accounted for. Have to all be turned in.
Yeah.
That what he was talking. I was like, "Oh, how you
Huh.
know?"
Interesting.
Disney's running around grabbing them and just burning them in like
Right.
dumpsters.
Mhm.
Huh. Okay. Well, that took a weird turn. And this time it wasn't even my fault. That was on
Yeah, it's my fault.
my Okay. So let's see. What do we got? What's our number 4? What do you got at number 4, Lonnie?
Okay, so for number 4, man, I have a true classic. Some may say that it's not as good as the first one, but I think it is, and that is Die Hard 2, that was released July 1990. Man, let me tell you something. John McClane at the airport now, trying to get them while all these planes are circling, and he's trying to, number one, battle I don't want to spoil it for some people who didn't see it, but let's just say you got to go watch it because there's a plot twist that hit. Right? So John
35 years
McClane,
later,
this
we're
time he's in the airport, not at the Nakatomi Plaza. It's still Christmas time. This is a Christmas movie. It's still snowing.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
And he's saving all these planes. So I'm gonna go with Die Hard 2, released July 1990. Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay.
All right.
That's a great
Gene.
pick. Great pick.
Gene, what do you got in the 4 spot?
I don't have a Die Hard movie.
No, you shouldn't, because it's not part of the Disney.
My guardrails were a little narrower than Lonnie's, as per usual.
It's a Disney movie, isn't it? Is it a Disney movie?
I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing with you. No, mine is a little ditty called Aladdin.
Oh.
And so Aladdin is another one. I mean, it's from around that time. Matter of fact, when I was in college, my wife, she wasn't my wife then. She wasn't my girlfriend then either. But her sorority had a sorority party that I didn't go to. No one asked me. But some of my fraternity brothers went to, and it was Magic Carpet Ride, or maybe the theme was A Whole New World, but it was that, and it was Aladdin themed, and because it was very timely at that point when we were in college, and I mean, great music. The genie's amazing. Robin Williams as the genie is amazing. Matter of fact, did you know that he actually ad-libbed quite a bit of that. He improvised it so much that the script couldn't be considered for an Academy Award nomination in the Best Adapted Screenplay category. That's how much it was ad-libbed. But
Wow.
great movie. Jasmine is a favorite, Princess of Many. You know, she's a great character. It's a great story. And also, one last little tidbit. Guess who Aladdin's look was modeled after?
I don't know who.
So the earliest sketches of Aladdin, he looked a little too boyish, and so they wanted to revamp his look, give him a little, you know, a little, I don't know how you call it, a je ne sais quoi. And so they took some inspiration from Tom Cruise's charismatic persona.
Hmm.
Yep.
That's a good choice, man. I have Aladdin at my number 2, so that's a very good choice. And that's a, I mean, let's be honest. Once again, that one, you know, some you'll see too for like my top ones. There's a live action version as well, right? And I really like the live action version of Aladdin.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's almost we're almost to a point where there's a live action version of all of these.
Exactly.
Every single one. But that's a good thing.
That's a very good thing. And I
Yeah.
think Disney did that. You know, when you look at it, say, why are they releasing these live action versions? If you look at them, it's from the films that were so popular during this time. Of course, Die Hard 2 was already live action. I mean, that's true.
Yeah, right.
But if you look at, you know, we talked about Beauty and the Beast, now Aladdin. Once again, Aladdin on Broadway, still been running for so long, so very popular. So yeah.
And even there's a new live action. Is it Mufasa live action?
Yeah, that comes out.
Yeah,
well,
that's
it's
gonna
like
be
a
good.
lot of CGI, I would think. But
No, they live. They took a long time to get those lines on the contract.
I mean,
Get
very,
this
very
Saturday
well
Night Talk.
trained. Big
Yeah.
Green Roy worked really hard.
What
What about
well,
you?
that's
John? What you
So
got?
I forgot to mention my number 5 movie too, but I'll say my number 4. I also have Aladdin at number 4.
Okay.
Same reasons, right? I mean, it's just a great movie.
Mhm.
And Gene, your point earlier about like just how, you know,
Tom
movies you
Cruise?
want your daughters to watch. No. But you know, Jasmine like fights for what she believes in, right?
Yeah.
And like it's her dad to let her marry for love, and it's just I don't know. I like
A
that.
Spitfire.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was really. I always thought it was a really good movie.
Yep.
My number 5 movie though was or is Mulan, and I love Mulan. It's such a fun
Yeah.
movie, and that's another one too. Like it shows like a strong woman figure, and she's able to go out and be a warrior, and you know, it's so good. And then it's got a little bit of comic relief in it too. It's I don't know, the music from it is great. Like I'll Make a Man Out of You. I love that song because who is it? Donny Osmond, right? I mean, come on, you can't beat him.
Yeah.
And a live action one of that one, which was fantastic as well. Love the live action.
Yeah, and it was so different. Like I thought it was some of the other ones like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin. I think it's Aladdin until the end, but it's similar enough the story, right? And I thought Mulan, the live action, they did it in a completely different way, and it was super cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The only thing about the live action is that it doesn't have Ming Na Wen, who, you know, we know from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we know from the Book of Boba Fett as Fennec Shand. I mean, she, even before that, she was in sitcoms, and she's amazing. I really, really like her. And she, you know, she's the voice of Mulan in the animated one. Unfortunately, she was not the right age. You know, they didn't want to spend the money de-aging, so they hired an age appropriate actress for that. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it was such a good movie. All right, so in the 3 spot, Gene, what do you have as your number 3 overall Renaissance era movie?
So the first thing I want to say is that I could actually all 5 of mine could be put in any really order because they're all favorites. You know, I like them all. But Mulan, that I have that at number 3. Mulan could easily be in number 1. But you know, you guys know my daughter's Chinese. I have an affinity for the Chinese culture, and I love Mulan because it's a great story overall. But also, I have, you know, an affinity for it for that reason. One of the things I wanted to share about it was that Disney actually worked really, really closely with the Chinese cultural consultants that they hired for this film to ensure that they didn't offend any Chinese audiences. And it was actually the very first Disney film released in China after the country's ban on Disney films. So it's just they really worked hard to make sure that this culturally lined up and was pleasing to the Chinese audiences.
That's awesome. And that's really cool that they took like the effort to do that to make sure that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they don't put anybody out and that type of thing. All right. Lonnie, what do you got at number 3?
Man, I went back and forth. You got the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You got all this. Mulan actually, right there. It was right there on my list. But I'm gonna have to go to one that kind of started this off, right? And that is introducing us to a new princess or a new queen, and that is Aliens, the follow-up to the first Alien. Let me say something here. There's nothing like Ripley going out into space, into a planet, to actually confront the xenomorphs. Of course, she was brought on as a expert because she, from the first Alien, she, of course,
she experienced it,
right? So she was an expert, but she literally, what Disney does, female empowerment, end up saving the day. So, hey, look, Aliens. I kind of started that renaissance. It's right on that cusp. Awesome movie. You can't go wrong with it. That's my choice.
Aliens 2 is better for sure.
That's what it is.
It's best for the franchise.
It's
best for the
Aliens.
franchise.
Exactly. This is Aliens, which is the Renaissance era. The original Alien was in the 70s. So this
I
Aliens.
know. I'm saying this is the one.
Yes,
this is the best one.
This is the one. I mean, game over.
Talk about a strong female lead.
Game over. Take off and nuke them from space. That's the only way to be sure.
Right.
So many one-liners.
I've never even seen it.
You never seen
What?
Alien?
Are you kidding me?
No.
So good.
I know. It's on my bucket list of Disney movies I gotta watch. So yeah.
I'm
boy.
Okay. Disappointed, John, that you didn't see it yet.
Well, so you had Aliens at 3. Now we're moving into what our second ranked movie is. So Lonnie, earlier you had said Aladdin was your number 2. Is that still true?
Actually, it is. So my top 3.
You say actually, I changed it.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm looking at my list, and it is. I had I moved it around a little bit because it's still a floating list, but yes, Aladdin's still in that bad boy.
Okay, all right. And then for my number 2, I have The Lion King. But Gene, like you said earlier, I mean, really, these could be in any order.
Yeah.
Because that could be the number 1 it could be the number 4 one. But it's such a great movie. I love it. I love the scenery and stuff in it and just everything. Yeah. And it's got enough Timon and Pumbaa are hilarious when they're just the best. And that's
no tumble monkeys though.
No, not in the movie. But in the show, yeah. So
and I love the live action, John. Love it.
You did?
I did people had a hard time with the live action. But man, I thought it stayed true to character. Yeah, we had an extra song on there that they put in there from Beyonce, Queen Bee herself. But the live action to me stuck straight to the script. Really, really good. I liked it.
Wow. Okay.
The original title.
You did not like the live action?
I didn't like it. No, I really didn't. Yeah, I've only seen it once. I saw it when it came out in the theaters, and I don't know. I didn't like it, and I was so excited about it too because Jon Favreau wrote it, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and I love him. Everything from Swingers through all his Marvel stuff. He's great. So I might have been a victim of high expectations. I don't know.
So with that being said, are you going to see Mufasa? Or are you going to wait for it to hit Disney?
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see Mufasa because the previews make it look amazing. So I'm giving them a fresh start and thinking they fixed everything from the last one. So
is it James Earl Jones AI voice for Mufasa's voice or no?
Well, I think he filmed this before he actually.
Okay, because he licensed Disney Lucasfilm to use AI version of his voice before he died.
To me, that just shows how he was unselfish. And he knew how much his voice meant.
His voice is the character, right?
Star Wars to Lion King and to everything else.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome that he did that.
Yep.
Yeah, that is really cool.
The original title of The Lion King wasn't The Lion King.
Oh, what
What
was it,
was it?
Gene?
It was King of the Jungle, but somebody realized it's funny. I was watching something the other day, and I was thinking about this that lions don't really they're called that, but they don't really live in the jungle. And somebody realized that, and so they decided not to name it that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you don't want to break canon. They
Yeah.
don't live in the jungle, so yeah.
That
No, they
could have been
don't.
a big issue there. Um,
It's really grassy plains, you know.
It could have offended a lot of lions. Could have.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, King of the Grassy Plains. That would have been a much better name
Yeah.
than
I
Lion
don't
King.
know.
Also,
Man.
I don't know if it rolled off the tongue the same way.
I'm gonna call Mike Eisner and just kind of get his take. Be like,
Yeah.
why did you? Okay, Gene, what do you got as your number 2?
I have Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, or Tarzan,
Really?
Lord of the Jungle. Depends on how you pronounce it. Yep.
Hmm.
I like the music. I've always been a Tarzan fan. From the time I was a kid, watching black and white movies and watching cartoons when I was a kid. I read the Edgar Rice. There's about 450 of them, but I read some of the Edgar Rice Burroughs books, Tarzan books, when I was in high school, and I really like the character. Every movie, more modern movie that's come out about him, with him as the main character, I've watched. I really enjoy the movie, and I like, it's a good movie.
And
man, look,
the-
Phil Collins, come on now, doing the soundtrack.
Mhm.
And that movie is awesome. I have that as an
Yeah.
underrated one. That movie is
Mhm.
awesome.
Yep.
man, and it didn't make my list, which is a bummer because it is a really good movie. And like you said, Phil Collins.
But all these movies are good. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They're all good. It's hard.
My list
some
is
left on the list.
Yeah, I got a fluctuating list. It's just that good.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Well-
And so another thing about it that a lot of people don't know is that there were actually some of the creative animation techniques. That there's one called Deep Canvas that feeling of Tarzan sliding through the trees. That you see in the movie. That's a 3D painting technique that they did for the first time, and it was used extensively in that animation. It allows the camera to kind of move dynamically through the jungle, and that's why that movie has kind of a unique look for the time.
The only thing about that, Gene, I think that is really good is there's a certain scene when he's holding Jane and flying through, and he has both hands on Jane, but yet he's swinging on the rope. And the thing is, how is he bowling that rope? I'm just saying.
I don't think we can talk about it.
No, we can't.
Oh boy! All right, we're down to our number 1 favorite Disney Renaissance era movie. I mentioned earlier already mine. It's Little Mermaid today, and tomorrow it might be Lion King or Beauty and the Beast, or who knows. But for right now,
Right.
that was my favorite. So yeah, and I talked about reasons why earlier, so we don't need to go through that again. But Lonnie, what's your favorite Disney Renaissance era movie?
Man, it's so easy. I'm surprised you guys don't have it at number 1, and it's The Lion King. The Lion King, a phenomenal movie. Saw it so many times. It's, nothing says that a movie is good like a bunch of college kids, men, sitting around the TV watching The Lion King. That's how good it was. That's me when it came out, right? It came out in 1994, senior year. We all just sitting there just watching The Lion King. Man, it's just an awesome movie. So Lion King is my number 1 Renaissance movie.
And that's a solid choice. Yeah, such a good
sure.
movie. All right, Gene, what do you got?
It's such a solid choice because I made the very same choice, The Lion King, without a doubt. I said these are interchangeable, and they are for the most part, but The Lion King edges everything out. I actually saw The Lion King. I didn't see it when it originally came out, but I was living in Italy, and I went with a bunch of adults to go see this movie, and it was I thought it was amazing at the time. I love the movie. So many great things about it. The music's great. The characters are great. It's just a good movie. And, one of the cool things I like about it is that, Scar's design was kind of loosely based on Jeremy Irons, who is the voice actor that portrays him. And an interesting fact that a lot of people don't know is that after, voicing Scar, he actually developed some vocal issues. And the guy who voiced Ed the Hyena, his name's Jim Cummings. You guys probably don't know because you don't know as much about Disney as I do. But he actually took over the part of Scar's song "Be Prepared." So I mean, it's just a kind of a cool, piece of trivia I like to carry around in my pocket,
I will say this though, and John, you have a point. I did not like the fact of how they redid "Be Prepared" in the live action. It was a different song. It wasn't the same because who "Be Prepared" was a phenomenal song. And I will give you another piece. Back in 2006, I don't know. Me and my wife went to see The Lion King on Broadway. If you don't have a chance to go see it on Broadway, guys, let me just tell you, it's worth the trip to New York. I know it travels, but it's different on
Are there
Broadway.
are there are
Go
there tumble monkeys?
see. No, but they come through the crowd on Broadway, and how they actually do it when Mufasa speaks. It is so good. It is
Yeah, that's
so
good to
good.
know.
So I mean, you just have to see Lion King. And the funny thing about it is, we went to see it back then. I was in New York yesterday. The same billboard is up, and when we were walking by, we went to see Back to the Future on Broadway yesterday. And coming from Back to the Future, we walked by, and people were coming out with the Lion King cup. So it is still on Broadway, still
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
great things. Go see Lion King on Broadway.
It is so good. I've never seen it on Broadway, but I've seen the touring one, and
Mhm.
that was amazing. It was
Yeah.
just such a cool experience that we went to.
Lonnie, how many shows have you seen since you've been up there? How many Broadway shows have you seen?
I saw Michael Jackson twice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Saw Back to the
Wow.
Future, and I'm going to see Harry Potter this Sunday.
Oh, I want to see that so
Cool.
bad.
That's cool.
The Cursed Child. So
Yeah.
I mean, we've done some Broadway showings since we've been here.
That's
I've been
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I like to see shows.
I've like I said, Michael Jackson was so good. We went and then went back for a second time and saw it. But man, yeah, I've grown to really enjoy theater and Broadway since I've been up here.
We should do that Thursday rather than what we've got planned.
I'll do it with you, man. There's an 8 o'clock show, and we can go see something else. But it's up to you. Either way you go, there's going to be some drama.
I'm actually flying up to see Lonnie, and we're going to go watch a game, and I'm probably going to be very disappointed. So
Who's playing in this game? The Cowboys?
yeah,
Cowboys and the Giants.
Giants? Oh,
the Giants of New Jersey.
It'll be me and Gene at the game. So,
that is amazing. Gene, going into that's your biggest rival too, right? The Giants?
Giants, yeah, Giants and the Giants, the Eagles, and the
everybody in the
Commanders.
division.
You go in there and you're gonna say who you're rooting for, and I'm gonna tell them, man, I don't have a dog in this hunt. Is that the right saying? I don't have a dog in
this fight.
Fight, yeah.
I don't like fighting dogs.
You're mixing your metaphors. That dog won't hunt, and I don't have a dog in this fight.
But those two dogs not hunting. So there you go.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. I mean, you'd say that one too. I don't know.
Either way, though, you're not picking sides here, Lonnie, right?
No, I don't care who wins. I want the Cowboys to win for Gene. That's it.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, man. We deviated. I'm sorry, John. Get us back.
We went a little off course.
Lion King, all right. Number one for me and Gene. What's your number one?
These are the things that the listeners want to know, though.
Yeah, no, they are. They want to know about your social plans and
our quality time together, me and Gene.
Yeah. Kevin's gonna be jealous, but that's fine. We don't have to tell him. Although that's gonna hurt me inside to hold that in. And
he doesn't listen to the show anyway, so he would.
Oh boy. Okay. So now we're gonna talk about what we think is the most.
You never gave your number one, did you?
Oh yeah, I did. Little Mermaid.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're right.
My favorite, but I mean, it could be Lion King on any given day. All right, so let's go. What do we think is the most overrated one? Because let's get the negative out of the way first. I'm going with Pocahontas.
Yeah.
I think that is an awful movie. I never want to see it again.
Interesting.
I don't like the music from it. I don't like what they did with the story. I don't ever want to see that movie again. And I think it's just boring. Like I didn't enjoy it at all. So yeah, that's mine. What, Gene? What do you got?
Well, before I want to one of the things that there's things I like about Pocahontas, but they altered the historical accuracy to make it more family friendly, because Pocahontas was actually only about 11 or 12 when she met John Smith. So she's depicted as an adult. And so, that's disturbing. I mean, it's a different time. I know that, but still disturbing. And so, no, I'll go with you. It's overrated. I'm going to say, I know there are people on this podcast that talk about this movie all the time and love it. Hercules. I don't love it. I don't love it. It's never, I don't know. I can't recall watching it all the way through more than once. I've seen bits and pieces, but it just never grabbed me. There's nothing about it to me that's really redeeming. And maybe I need another watch. I don't know, but that's just my, it's just
that hurt, man. I'm like, John, that hurt, man. Dude, I can go the distance when you're running down Main Street for the marathon, even the half. That playing, man. Come on, man.
I have not. When I've run that marathon before, I've never been in the frame of mind to hear any music around me. I don't know what's going on. I'm just like one foot in front of the other. Okay, one more step and another step. I mean, but at that point, that's all I'm getting. That's all that's going through my head. I'm not hearing any music.
Okay, fair point.
Wow.
But Hades, man, come on now.
Yeah, Hades is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I don't like the style of it either. I don't like the look. It's got this, it's the style actually is based on Greek pottery. It's this angular style that, I know some people like it. It's supposed to be unique and it's supposed to fit the time, and I just don't love it.
Hey, even the songs, man. Who put the Hercules right now? I mean, even the songs you didn't like. All right, man, I get you.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, look, I don't hate you for it. It's fine. You can like it.
Everybody got their own opinion.
Yeah.
Lonnie, what about you? What's your opinion on the most
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Overrated?
I don't that movie that much. Like Gene, I'm kind of like, I watched it one time. Maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I know Quasimodo. It was very dark. Even they kind of kept the dark roots on this film as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I just really didn't like it that much. So I'm gonna go with the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, I've never seen it. The only thing I know about it, is the song that they have in Happily Ever After. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's one I've always wanted to see, but I think it's sad, right? I don't need that. I don't need that.
Lot of dark themes in it.
Yeah.
So I don't need that in my life right now. So okay, so we talked about our most overrated. Now, for most underrated, Gene, I'm on the exact opposite end of the spectrum from you because I think Hercules is the most underrated.
Okay.
I think it's just such a great movie, and it doesn't really get a whole lot of love. And I know part of it is my son Caleb loves Greek and Roman mythology, and now he's starting to get into like other mythologies and stuff. But he started watching this movie really young and has just always loved it. So I think that's part of it for me too. Is it's something cool that I do with my kid. But I do think it's a really cool movie that I could watch anytime. Lonnie, what do you think is the most underrated?
John, I'm gonna, because I know this list is a living document. Right? It's a living document. It changes. At first, I was going to go with Mulan because I love the live action and I love the animated. But when I think about that, when I think really it got some love, but it was behind. It kind of built up a cult following, and that's going to be the first movie. Predator. So let me tell you something. Anytime you have Arnold Schwarzenegger going into the jungle with Carl Weathers, it's an awesome movie. And unfortunately, it didn't get the love it so rightfully deserved when it first came out. But as it, as guys do, man, it kind of picks up later in line. It starts to roll, and now it's a classic. So I'm gonna go with Predator as underrated. I wish it would have got most of the love when it first came out. And shout out to the team that went in to attempt and rescue
make it out.
hostages. So I'm gonna go with Predator.
And you mentioned Carl Weathers. He might be one of the most underrated actors ever.
Yes,
he's in so many good things. So,
I mean, who taught Happy Gilmore how to play golf?
Carl Weathers.
Exactly.
Who gave Din Djarin his jobs? You know
Carl
Carl
Weathers.
Weathers. Who gave
what?
Rocky a rematch when he didn't have to because he won the first
That's
one?
right. That's right. And
And
his shot in the first place.
yes. And look,
Sure.
let's go with this. Pulled him out the gutter to help him defeat the Russians. He's an American icon. He's a hero.
Yep.
Action
He is.
Jackson himself. Carl Weathers.
Action Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Jesse the Body? He ain't got time to bleed.
The governor? You know what, man?
Yeah.
He ain't got time to bleed. Come on,
He ain't
man.
got
They got
time to
so
bleed.
many one-liners from there, too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this show back on track. All right. So, Gene, what's your most
no
underrated?
time for nonsense, John.
No.
John just puts all of
You gotta
it.
rein in these shenanigans.
So shenanigans are. That's about shenanigans is my middle name. So my underrated is, I don't mean to disagree. I don't want to cause any kind of discord, but mine is The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Dame, not Dames. And it's for this reason. I actually did a term paper on this in college on this movie, and there's just so many. I said the themes are dark, and that's why I say I think people don't realize some of the themes. I mean, monsters. It explores what it means to be a monster. Quasimodo's identity as defined by his physical appearance. That's another point. Just physical appearance, social exclusion. Quasimodo was a shunned pariah. He lives in the cathedral. The abuse of power, the sexualization and objectification of Esmeralda, dramatic irony, Gothic architecture, the supernatural. There's rationalism, knowledge, all things like of that time period. Justice, punishment, freedom. It explores all those themes: lust, sin, misogyny, alienation, appearances, hypocrisy, fate, predestination. So many deep themes that we don't think about in a cartoon, but because it's based on a Victor Hugo novel, it's got all those deep themes, and so that's why I think people don't realize that it's got such depth, and so that's why it's just that's why it's so underrated.
Wow.
I didn't realize that. Maybe I need to reevaluate my choices.
My whole life choices.
Yeah.
You guys probably don't know it, but this is not my first Disney podcast. Do you know that?
I did not know that either.
So you might have noticed that I know a little bit about the Disney Renaissance. I used to have a podcast. You notice my moniker here, Disney Renaissance Man, and that was actually the name of my podcast. It was just me, and I only talked about the Disney Renaissance and in depth every week. I had never had any guests. I just pontificated on the Disney Renaissance movies. So
you made Lonnie leave, Gene. Lonnie just bailed on us. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that was a good discussion.
I just had to go Google Gene's podcast.
Yeah. No, it's probably really good. That might be the most underrated podcast.
I couldn't find episodes, so maybe it is. I don't know.
All right. We are going to keep this thing rolling and go into our favorite part of the show, which is quacking up with the ducks. Wow. Okay. So tonight, Gene, let's have you, let's see if you can make us quack up first.
I really can't, but I don't know if you've noticed a little bit of animosity between me and Lonnie. The last time I saw him, you're not going to believe this, but he threw sodium chloride at me. I mean, that's assault.
Oh, that's a good one. I love it. All right, Lonnie, what do you got?
Well, man, I don't really have a joke, but I can tell you something about myself, man. For the last couple of weeks since I've been up here in Jersey, I've gotten sick on the weekends, right? And I don't know why. So I finally went to the doctor and I said, hey, you know what? I'm getting sick, but it's only on the weekend. And he says, he made a couple of tests and he said, you know what? I found out that you have a weakened immune system.
Oh boy. Why were medieval times called the Dark Ages?
I don't know.
Lots of knights. Oh boy. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. And Gene, I think you have a warning for our audiences.
I do. The views, opinions, and obscure facts discussed by Lonnie, John, and Gene in this episode of Disney with the Ducks about the Disney and Renaissance era movies are, as always, fueled by a passion and a dash of pixie dust. Any disagreements about whether Hercules had better music than The Lion King, or if Aladdin is truly the best Renaissance film, are purely the result of animated debate and lifelong fandom. Side effects of listening to this episode may include uncontrollable singing of Part of Your World, deep analysis of Scar's villainy, and wondering why there are no Renaissance films about ducks. Listener discretion was advised. Too late now, especially if you're a team John or Gene. As for Lonnie, well, we all know his favorite Renaissance movie is actually Little Mermaid, even if he won't admit it. Quack responsibly.
All right. Thank you, Gene.
Saw through my disguise. Little Mermaid it is.
It's true. Quaharini, everyone.
Peace out, everybody.
Word. So shenanigans is my middle name.